Welcome back, everyone. Today we're looking at a coin that most people would probably toss onto a counter without thinking twice. It's the 2015 Saratoga National Historical Park quarter from the United States, America, the Beautiful Quarters series. And at first glance, it honestly does not look impressive at all. Let's get started. Most examples you'll find are scratched up, dull around the edges, covered in pocket grime and worn down from years of circulation. Some of them look almost lifeless, like they've spent a decade rolling around in cup holders, laundry machines, and forgotten jars. But here, the surprising part. Even though this quarter looks like ordinary pocket change, certain versions of it have caught the attention of collectors in a very serious way. And some examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition, mint errors, and overall quality. That's exactly why people are digging through old change jars right now looking for coins like this one. The 2015 Saratoga quarter was released as part of the America, the Beautiful Quarters program, a long-running coin series created by the United States Mint to honor national parks and historic locations across America. This particular design celebrates Saratoga National Historical Park in New York, the site connected to one of the most important turning points in the American Revolutionary War. The reverse side of the coin shows a close-up of a soldier preparing for battle, with the words "British Surrender 1777" engraved into the design. It's a dramatic image, and even people who are not coin collectors tend to remember it once they notice the detail. The coin was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and millions were produced, which is why many people assume it cannot possibly be valuable. But collectors know something important that casual coin users often forget. Mass-produced coins can still become valuable when certain versions survive in exceptional condition or contain rare mistakes from the minting process. One reason this coin has gained so much attention is because condition matters more than people realize. A heavily circulated quarter with scratches and discoloration may only look like a normal 25-cent piece, but an uncirculated version with strong luster and sharp details can jump dramatically in value. Collectors carefully inspect the high points of the design, the shine across the fields, and the crispness of the lettering. Even tiny differences can change the market price. Some certified high-grade examples of the 2015 Saratoga quarter have reportedly sold for around $850, while cleaner and more visually attractive examples have reached values closer to $1,300. That surprises many people because they assume modern quarters are too common to matter. But in coin collecting, rarity is not always about age. Sometimes it's about survival, quality, and demand all coming together at the right time. Another thing that keeps this quarter interesting is the possibility of mint errors and unusual varieties. Collectors constantly search for doubled lettering, off-center strikes, weak strikes, die chips, and other odd features that escape the mint unnoticed. A coin with a strong and visible error can attract huge attention online and at coin auctions. That's why people examine every detail under bright light or magnification. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, the lettering around the edge, and the details in the soldier's uniform and face. Some error examples tied to this quarter have reportedly pushed values toward $2,100, especially when combined with excellent condition. The exciting part is that many of these discoveries come from ordinary circulation finds. Someone receives a quarter in change, notices something unusual, and suddenly realizes the coin might be worth far more than face value. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is ignoring ugly coins simply because they look worn out. In reality, some rough-looking coins still carry real value. A scratched or dirty Saratoga quarter could still contain a desirable error or an uncommon die variety that collectors want. That's why experienced collectors never judge a coin too quickly. They rotate it under light, inspect the edges, and compare details carefully before making any decisions. Sometimes the difference between a common quarter and a highly collectible one comes down to a tiny feature, most people would never notice. There are even stories of collectors paying around $3,400 for rare certified examples connected to unusual mint characteristics. That sounds unbelievable for a modern quarter, but the coin market has always rewarded rarity and collector demand in unexpected ways. If you happen to own one of these quarters, the first thing you should do is check the mint mark. Coins from Philadelphia carry a P, Denver coins carry a D, and special collector versions from San Francisco have an S. Then examine the coin's surface carefully. Look for unusually sharp details, strong shine, missing design elements, doubling in the text, or anything that seems different from a normal quarter. Also pay attention to the coin's color and texture. Some coins tone naturally over time, and collectors sometimes appreciate original surfaces more than bright polished ones. And this is very important. Never clean the coin. A lot of people think cleaning will increase value, but in the coin world it usually does the opposite. Cleaning can leave tiny scratches and destroy the natural surface collectors want to see. Even a coin that looks dirty or dark may actually be worth more untouched. What makes the 2015 Saratoga quarter especially fascinating is the way it blends history with modern collecting. It's not ancient silver, and it's not made from gold, yet people still search for it every day because it represents the possibility that valuable coins might still be hiding in ordinary circulation. That idea keeps collectors excited. It turns every handful of change into a treasure hunt. Some high-end graded examples of this quarter have reportedly reached values around $4,700 or more under the right conditions, especially when the coin combines near-perfect preservation with a rare feature or strong collector demand. And even though not every Saratoga quarter will reach those numbers, the fact that some have already achieved impressive prices proves that this coin has real value in the eyes of collectors. So the next time you see a dirty old quarter sitting in your pocket, your car console, or at the bottom of a drawer, take a second look before spending it. The 2015 Saratoga National Historical Park quarter may appear scratched, faded, and ordinary, but coins like this continue to surprise people every year. That worn surface might hide a collectible detail worth serious money, and the only way to know is to examine it carefully and leave it in its natural condition. Sometimes the coins people ignore the fastest end up becoming the most interesting discoveries of all. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep checking your change because you never know what value might already be in your hands. Next coin, the 2016 Cumberland Gap National Historical Park quarter, is the kind of coin most people never even bother to examine closely. In circulated condition, it usually looks rough, faded, scratched, and completely ordinary, like something that has spent years moving through vending machines, gas stations, parking meters, and loose pockets. The surface often appears dull, the edges can look softened from wear, and the design details sometimes seem flat under normal lighting. Because of that, many people assume this quarter has no collector value at all. They see modern pocket change and immediately think it is too common to matter. But that assumption is exactly why certain examples of this coin continue to surprise collectors. Hidden among millions of ordinary-looking quarters are pieces that carry strong value, especially when condition, mint quality, and unusual features come together the right way. This quarter was released as part of the America the Beautiful series, a program created by the United States Mint to honor important national parks and historic landmarks across the country. The Cumberland Gap quarter specifically recognizes Cumberland Gap National Historical Park, located in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Historically, the Cumberland Gap served as a major passage through the Appalachian Mountains and became one of the key routes used by settlers moving westward during early American expansion. The reverse design of the coin captures that rugged frontier feeling with an image of a frontiersman gazing across the mountains while holding a rifle. It has a calm but dramatic appearance that reflects exploration, survival, and movement into unknown territory. Even though millions of these quarters were produced, Collectors remain interested because the design stands out once people actually stop and study it carefully. One reason this coin is constantly overlooked is because modern quarters rarely receive the same respect as older silver coins. People often believe that only ancient or extremely rare coins can hold real value, but experienced collectors understand that modern coins can become highly collectible for very different reasons. The 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter exists in several mint varieties from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, and high-grade examples are far harder to find than most people realize. Coins that avoided heavy circulation damage and kept their original mint luster are already attracting serious attention. Some professionally graded examples have sold for around $920, while stronger high-end specimens with exceptional preservation have reached values closer to $1,650. For a coin many people spend without thinking, those numbers can feel almost unbelievable. Collectors also search this quarter for minting errors and unusual strike characteristics that increase demand even further. Tiny details can completely change the value of a coin. Doubled lettering, die chips, off-center strikes, weak strikes, or abnormal surfaces can turn an ordinary-looking quarter into something highly collectible. That is why coin hunters carefully inspect the date, mint mark, lettering, and design elements under magnification. On the Cumberland Gap quarter, many collectors focus closely on the frontiersman figure, the mountain details, and the sharpness of the inscriptions around the reverse side. If something looks unusual or different from standard examples, collectors take notice immediately. Certain rare error examples connected to this quarter have reportedly sold for around $2,750 depending on the strength of the error and the overall condition of the coin. Condition matters heavily with this series, but one of the biggest misconceptions is that circulated coins automatically lose all value. That is simply not true. Even worn examples can still carry collector demand if they display rare features or remain visually appealing despite circulation damage. Some quarters develop interesting natural tunning over time, while others retain stronger details than expected after years of use. Experienced collectors often examine circulated coins very carefully because valuable discoveries sometimes come from coins that appear ugly at first glance. A scratched and dirty quarter may still contain a rare die variety hiding in plain sight. In some cases, certified examples with desirable traits have reportedly sold for around $3,850, proving once again that modern pocket change can carry far more value than most people expect. If you want to identify the 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter yourself, start by checking the reverse side for the frontiersman overlooking the mountains. You should also see the inscriptions Cumberland Gap, first doorway to the west, Kentucky, and the year 2016. Then examine the obverse side with George Washington's portrait and locate the mint mark near the date. Coins marked with P were struck in Philadelphia, D represents Denver, and S indicates San Francisco collector issues. After that, pay attention to the coin's overall surface. Look for strong shine, sharp details, unusual doubling, missing design elements, or anything that seems slightly different from normal examples. Sometimes the smallest visual difference can create major collector interest, especially when the coin is preserved in higher grades. One important thing collectors constantly warn beginners about is cleaning. People often think they can improve a coin's value by making it look bright and shiny, but cleaning almost always damages collectible coins. Scrubbing, polishing, or using chemicals can leave microscopic scratches and destroy the original surface collectors want to see. Even a dull-looking Cumberland Gap quarter may actually be worth more in untouched condition than a polished one that appears cleaner. Natural wear tells part of the coin's history, and collectors generally prefer originality over artificial shine. Some of the highest value examples are carefully preserved exactly as they were found. In the right condition, certain rare versions of this quarter have reportedly achieved prices of $4,900 or more, especially when tied to exceptional grading or unusual mint errors. The fascinating thing about the 2016 Cumberland Gap quarter is that it represents both American history and the modern treasure hunt of coin collecting at the same time. It is still circulating through ordinary change, which means valuable examples can appear almost anywhere without warning. That possibility keeps collectors searching through jars, cash registers, and old coin rolls every single day. Most people will continue overlooking this quarter because it appears too worn, too common, or too modern to matter. But collectors know better. They understand that value often hides behind dull surfaces and damaged appearances. So if you come across one of these quarters, take a closer look before spending it. You might be holding a coin with far more value than anyone around you realizes. Second coin, the 2022 Dr. Sally Ride American Women Quarter, is the kind of coin someone might discover while cleaning out an old kitchen drawer late at night, or while sorting through a dusty jar of forgotten change that once belonged to a parent or grandparent. It usually does not look special at first. Most examples appear dull, scratched, stained around the edges, and faded from circulation. Some have fingerprints baked into the surface from years of handling, while others carry dark spots and small marks that make them seem worn out and worthless. People glance at it for a second and assume it is just another modern quarter with no real importance. But that quick judgment is exactly why coins like this continue to surprise collectors. Hidden behind that rough appearance is a coin connected to history, inspiration, and in some cases, very real collector value that many people completely overlook. What makes this quarter different is the story behind the woman featured on it. The coin honors Dr. Sally Ride, the first American woman to travel into space, a person whose achievements changed the way millions of people viewed science, exploration, and opportunity. Released as part of the American Women Quarters program, this coin represents more than simple pocket change. It represents progress, courage, and a moment in history that inspired an entire generation. The reverse side shows Dr. Sally Ride beside a space shuttle window, with Earth reflected in the background and the stars surrounding her. Even though the design is modern, it carries a quiet emotional weight once people stop and really study it. That emotional connection is one reason collectors became interested in these quarters almost immediately after release. The strange thing about modern coins is that people often ignore them because they assume value only belongs to older silver pieces or rare gold coins. But experienced collectors know modern coins can become highly desirable very quickly, especially when demand rises and top-quality examples become harder to find. The 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter circulated heavily, meaning many examples already show signs of wear despite being relatively recent. That is why clean, sharply detailed specimens stand out so strongly in the collector market. Some high-grade examples have reportedly reached around $780, while stronger certified coins with exceptional eye appeal have sold closer to $1,250. Those prices sound surprising to people who still think of this coin as ordinary change, but collector demand often grows around coins connected to important historical figures. Many collectors also search these quarters for unusual minting characteristics and errors that can dramatically increase value. Tiny imperfections created during production sometimes turn common coins into highly collectible discoveries. Doubled lettering, off-center strikes, die chips, weak impressions, and unusual surface textures are all things collectors inspect carefully. On the Dr. Sally Ride quarter, people pay close attention to the lettering around the reverse design, the details in the stars, and the clarity of the space shuttle imagery. A small difference most people would never notice can completely change how collectors view the coin. Certain error examples tied to this quarter have reportedly sold for around $2,050 depending on the visibility of the mistake and the condition of the coin itself. One reason this quarter continues attracting attention is because appearance can be extremely misleading in coin collecting. A coin that looks ugly, dirty, or heavily worn can still carry hidden value. Some circulated examples still retain sharp details under the grime, while others may contain rare features hidden beneath years of handling. Experienced collectors know never to dismiss a coin too quickly. They rotate it under light, examine the edges carefully, and compare every visible detail before making conclusions. That is because even damaged-looking coins sometimes end up becoming the most surprising finds. There are reports of certain highly desirable examples reaching values around $3,300 when strong condition and collector demand come together at the same time. If you want to identify the 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter yourself, start by looking at the reverse side of the coin. You will see Dr. Sally Ride facing upward beside a space shuttle window, surrounded by stars, with the Earth visible in the background. The inscriptions include Dr. Sally Ride, EPLURIBUSUNUM, and $quarter. Then flip the coin over and check the obverse side with George Washington's portrait. Near the date, you should find the mint mark, either P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco collector issues. After that, study the coin carefully under good lighting. Look for unusually strong shine, sharp design details, doubled text, or anything that appears different from normal examples. Sometimes the smallest visual clue can separate an ordinary coin from one collectors actively search for. One mistake people make all the time is trying to clean coins they believe might be valuable. It sounds logical at first because a shiny coin seems more attractive, but cleaning almost always lowers collector value. Scrubbing, polishing, or using chemicals can damage the original surface and leave microscopic scratches that experts immediately recognize. Even if a coin looks dark, discolored, or dirty, collectors often prefer it untouched because originality matters more than artificial brightness. Some of the most valuable examples are preserved exactly as they were found. In the right condition, certain rare or exceptionally graded Dr. Sally Ride quarters have reportedly sold for $4,600 or more, especially when connected to rare mint errors or nearly flawless preservation. The reason this coin feels so meaningful to many people is because it combines ordinary everyday life with something larger and more emotional. It may sit unnoticed in a pocket, a drawer, or an inherited collection for years before someone finally pauses long enough to see what it truly represents. A coin connected to the first American woman in space carries more than face value. It carries memory, history, and the possibility of hidden worth. That is why collectors continue searching through loose chain, everyday hopping to find overlooked pieces like this one. So if you come across a worn, scratched, or faded 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter, do not dismiss it too quickly. Sometimes the coins people ignore the fastest end up holding the most surprising value of all.